Janome.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Janome Sewing Studio. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Memory Craft 14000. This is a truly amazing machine. This is a sewing machine, an embroidery machine. It quilts, it does home dec, it could handle heavy fabrics and even the most delicate of fabrics. I will be going over with you what is included with the machine and giving you a brief overview of the screen and just navigating through the machine. Now let's get started with what's included in the machine. So I'm going to have you look at all of the feet that are included with this machine. And there are some that I'm going to be pointing out specifically, like these two right here. These are Accu-Feed Feet. And Accu-Feed is Janome's built-in walking foot. And you not only get one Accu-Feed foot, but you get two. So there is the standard dual width and then the single width or narrower foot. And these also come with interchangeable plates. So on the wider of the two, you get an open toe and a standard version. And on the narrow, you get a standard and a zipper foot. Imagine being able to put in all those zippers with that additional benefit of a built-in walking foot and having the feed dogs on top and on the bottom. I'm going to be showing you the built-in walking foot as it's on the machine, but I did want to take a little bit of time and go over some of the other items that are included. Now, if you're a quilter, this is for you. You not only get a standard darning foot or free motion foot, you also get 3 free motion feet that are snap-on free motion feet. And what I love about those is there's absolutely no move and no hopping. So it makes doing those intricate designs really easy. And no matter what type of sewist you are, you're bound to have that right foot that you need. Look at that variety. I love that Janome really gives you a great package with your machine. So you can start just about any project with everything that is included with the machine. Now, I said that this was a sewing and embroidery machine, so I want to show you the hoops that are included, and 4 hoops are included with the machine. I have the largest and the smallest on the table, and the 2 in between besides me. So that largest hoop is 9.1 by 11.8 inches. That is just the perfect size to do a full jacket back. That is 1 embroidery area, so there's no need for splitting designs. Just incredible that you're getting that large of an embroidery area. And just as important as how large can I embroider is how small can I embroider too. And our free arm hoop is this one right over here, and that one is 3.9 by 1.8. That is perfect for embroidering on cuffs and collars and pockets of all sorts. I absolutely love that free arm hoop. And then behind me, hanging on the wall, are the 2 that are in between. The 5.5 by 5.5. This is a really popular common size. And then the 9.1 by 9.1. I love using this on all of my quilt blocks. Just absolutely amazing. And you'll also notice that I have an additional plate on the table. So 2 stitch plates come with the machine, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to switch those plates out. I mentioned that 2 stitch plates come with the Memory Craft 14000. I have the standard stitch plate on the machine, but I wanted to show you the straight stitch plate. So you'll notice that there are 3 holes in this stitch plate: a center needle position, a right needle position, and a left needle position. And what I like is that that right needle position is not round but oval. So it allows you to adjust your needle for a scant 1/4 inch or for other needle positions that you may want to specify. Now, I love how easily the needle plates come on and off of the machine. I am going to lock my machine and lift my foot, and that goes to extra high lift so that I could remove the plate. But you'll notice I have no screwdriver, no tool with me, because this is an easy off plate. With a push of a button, I am able to remove that plate. And this one here is that zigzag plate with a wide opening, and the other goes on. I'm going to press it in place, and it lets me know that I have the straight stitch plate on my machine. So I get that nice indicator. So all of the plates are, not only do you get 2, but they're censored plates. You will notice that only the stitches that I could use with this plate are available. Janome thinks of everything. Don't you just hate when you put a straight stitch plate on, select a stitch that isn't appropriate and break a needle? That won't happen anymore. So I love the fact that the plates are censored and the machine knows exactly which plate I have on the machine. And as easily as I put that plate on, I could switch back and forth between the zigzag plate and the straight stitch plate. And very easily that plate is going to come off, and I am going to put that zigzag plate on. It's going to give me my warning to make sure you're using the proper foot, and now all of my stitches are available to me. I absolutely love the censored plates. And again, I was talking about that package that you get with Janome. If you've bought a plate recently, a stitch plate, you know that this is a pricey item. I love that it's included in with my machine. I am going to move that off to the side and put my machine back together. I had spoken that you get the Accu-Feed System in with the machine. And the Accu-Feed System is Janome's built-in walking foot, meaning that I have feed dogs on the top as well as built into the machine. And let me show you how that works. What I am going to do is I am just going to sew ever so slowly so that you could see those upper feed dogs in action. And you will see them just walking and pulling and feeding my fabric. Look at how perfectly straight that is moving without me even holding that fabric. And I love the fact that I'm able to adjust my speed right on the front of the machine. So that Accu-Feed system is absolutely wonderful. One thing that I also love with the Janome Accu-Feed system, most built-in walking feet and walking feet in general, you're only able to do straight stitches. Well, with Janome's Accu-Feed, I can use any of my decorative stitches that are built into the machine. And look at what a great selection of decorative stitches you have on the Memory Craft 14,000. I'm now going to come to the screen of the machine and I'm going to show you how easy it is to navigate and get to these decorative stitches. You'll notice that each one is in a boxed compartment, and when I touch my home screen, it allows me to get to my straight utility and then to all of my decorative stitches. Now, the one particular stitch that I love is in my pictograph section, and here is my pictograph section right over here. So when I touch that, it will bring up that section of the decorative stitches. And look at how beautifully large those icons are. Janome knew I put down my glasses and I could never find them when I'm in the middle of a project. So they made the icons so much larger to make it easier on the sewist. And I absolutely adore this little bow tie. And even with my built-in walking foot, I said that I could do those decorative stitches, regardless of the speed. And I am able to go from 400 stitches a minute all the way to 1,000 stitches a minute and everything in between. Now I want to make sure I complete and I don't show you a partially sewn bow tie. So I touched my locking stitch and that completed my pattern. So no more getting half of something sewn. Look at how absolutely beautiful and perfect that's stitched. Even though I was using a walking foot, which generally you cannot use with decorative stitches. I just love that Janome has really thought of all of those details. Now I mentioned that you get additional feet with that walking foot. So I am going to lock my machine for safety and raise my foot again. And look at how easily I am able to remove one foot and put another one on. And I'm just going to get that thread out of my way. And it just snaps into place, making it really easy to switch from one type of foot to another. Now the open toe makes it really nice and easy to see what I am stitching. And again, being able to use that upper feed dog along with that lower feed dog makes it absolutely wonderful. And I have that option of the narrow foot as well. And that narrow foot makes it really easy to do 1/4 inch piecing, to do large bulky items. I find this very handy. And the foot that you get that's interchangeable with that is a zipper foot. I love being able to add on zippers with the use of that upper and lower feed dog system, that dual feed system. Now I've switched to a standard sewing foot on my Memory Craft 14,000, but you may have noticed this wide, large opening. This from the needle all the way to the edge is 13.7 inches of throat space. Absolutely perfect for those larger projects. The quilts, the home deck projects, those big bulky tote bags and purses that you may be making. So I absolutely love that wide open area. And one thing, it's always the little things that get me excited on the machine. And one thing that I absolutely love is the light that pulls out. I just absolutely love that I could tilt and that I could adjust that, and that light is specifically where I need it, right at that needle, so that I could really see what I am doing. Now, I had mentioned to you that this machine could handle heavy, lightweight quilting fabrics. It takes you to all types of sewing. So I am going to put a single layer of cotton fabric. I am going to go to a straight stitch, and I am going to go from that single layer of fabric sewing off my fabric onto a quilt sandwich, and look at how easily with that superior feed system I am able to navigate and move that fabric. Now you may be saying, but what about those thick, heavy, bulky items? This is 12 layers of denim. Look at how thick that is in between my fingers. That's about 1/4 of an inch thick. And I always say that if it could fit under the foot, the machine could sew it. I have that extra high lift that I can make sure to get my item underneath my foot. I have not changed needles. I have not changed threads. And look at how effortlessly you could hear that bulk that it's going through. And I'm going to use my scissor button to cut my needle thread and my bobbin thread, and it lifted that foot, and absolutely beautiful stitching back and front without adjusting a thing. As I said, I made no adjustments. Normally when you go from very fine single layer fabric to something that thick, you're making tension adjustments, stitch length adjustments, you need to change a needle, but this machine really handles all types of fabrics beautifully. And on my quilt sandwich, no puckering. This is the bobbin side that I was sewing on. Here is that front side. Even with a standard sewing foot and the layers of fabric, look at how beautiful of a job that did. And I was talking about that superior feed system, and the superior feed system is that 7-piece feed dog system on the machine. And that just allows the fabric to feed effortlessly into the machine. And I'm going to show that one more time. And this is a snap-on foot. And I do have auto lift. So with that foot in the up position, I am able to touch my start button and it will lower the foot and just start sewing. Now look, with fingertips, look at how easily I am able to move that fabric. And I have almost a perfect circle here. Almost, I said. So look at how easily I was able to maneuver that fabric and how beautiful it kept that nice and flat and even going to that back side. No puckering, no movement because of that superior feed system that Janome is known for. Now, some of you may be quilters in the group, and I had mentioned this snap-on free motion foot. So let me put that behind some fabric so that you could see that. This is one of 3 of the snap-on free motion feet, and I'm going to put this on the machine, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up the machine to do free motion quilting. So on the screen, I want to tell the machine that I am going to free motion quilt and have the machine set this up for me automatically. And I love that I'm able to do that. I am going to touch that home button, and in my home screen, I have sewing applications. So I'm going to tell you what sewing applications is before I go into it. These are preset sewing options that when I tell the machine I am doing this type of sewing, it will automatically bring me to the stitch I need with all of the settings that I need in the machine to get optimal results. So when I touch sewing applications, I have a lot of different options. I not only have sewing machine options, but I have optional foot options. It's a lot of options. So with the foot icon, these are some of the optional feet that you can purchase in addition to the machine, and beading, ribbon sequins, piping, and it will set the machine up to do those functions. So I want to go to my quilting functions, and right over here I have a quilting icon, and I want to do free motion quilting. And you probably didn't even hear that, but my feed dogs dropped automatically. I have the option of using the standard hopping foot, but that is not what I put on my machine. I put on my machine a snap-on foot. So by telling the machine what I've put on it, it will set itself up for perfect results with this foot. I am going to touch start, and that will allow me to raise my bobbin thread, and then it will allow me to continue and do free motion. And I am just doing a meandering design, but I love the fact that this foot does not hop. So if I were going around an applique, I could get very precise and really see what I am doing. And look at those perfect results. I was barely holding that fabric, and I am just getting beautiful results each and every time. So those are the snap-on free motion feet. And you're getting that echo foot, which is really nice because it's a cupped foot, perfect for going around appliques or bulky seams, as well as a closed toe and an open toe option for that foot. Just lots of different feet that I can go back and forth to, and beautiful snap-on options. So sewing applications is going to give me a few more options that I wanted to show you, and applique is one of them that I wanted to show you. I know I love to applique, and sometimes I just have a hard time remembering what those settings are. And I love the fact that my Janome 14,000 has that preset in the screen. So the most common applique stitches or buttonhole stitches are right up top. And then I have the zigzag stitch, and this is what I wanted to show you. But on the screen, you're going to notice an M and R, those two look the same. So it even identifies my starting needle position. So right now on my machine, my needle is in the middle. When I touch that applique stitch with an R, my needle is moved to the right hand position, giving me a right needle position to start with my applique. Of course, this is all for preference, and I love the fact that they thought about that and put it in. But now my zigzag. When I do applique and I do want to use a zigzag, I don't want a standard zigzag. I want to go to a satin stitch. And remembering what those settings are, especially if you're new to applique, can sometimes be troublesome, and you have to go to that manual and look it up, which it is there, but I like that it's preset. So my width is set at 3.5 and my length is set at 0.35, the most common settings for doing satin stitching. And even with my satin stitching, I could follow a curve. I could really do some beautiful detail. And let me show you what a beautiful satin stitch that does. Look at how perfect that is. Absolutely stunning. And even though my width and length are preset, I am able to adjust that to get it to exactly what I need. So I love this bottom section of the screen. It's the two most common settings that you will change: my width and my length. And I have a plus and a minus. And I am able to adjust these as I'm sewing or at any point, whether I'm sewing or not. I love having those features in there. I am going back to a straight stitch. I've talked about the needle and whether it's a right hand position, a left hand position. And sometimes when I'm doing sewing, it is easier if I could move my needle than move my project, especially when I'm top stitching. This particular machine, the maximum stitch width is 9 millimeters, so I could do beautifully wide stitches. But I also have 91 needle positions. So right now, my needle position is at 4.5, and I'm going to just lift up that fabric in the back and move my needle position so that you could see that. And I am moving that to the left. And now I'm going to move to the right. And I'm moving very quickly. Or I could move one at a time where you barely even notice it. So 91 needle positions. And this is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, for me, I really like this for top stitching, because I can use the opening in my foot or my foot as a guide and get my needle to exactly where I need it to be. Having the right tools makes your projects excel to that next level. So now that we've spoken about some of the sewing features that are in this phenomenal machine, I'm going to talk about embroidery. So you'll notice I do not have any tools. I do not have anything out. I am going to show you how quickly and easily I can switch from embroidery into sewing. And I'm going to direct you to looking at the back of the machine. I love that Janome has a rolling linear arm and that the embroidery arm is in the back of the machine. It gave me my room to have all of my stuff both to the right and left of my machine. So with a push of a button, I am going to open up that embroidery arm, and that is step one to getting ready for embroidery. And then on my machine, I am going to tell it I want to toggle and I want to go from sewing into embroidery. Are you ready for this? Really, really easy. Here's my double machine icon, and with a touch of that button, it is going to switch from sewing into embroidery. And I am all ready to start embroidering. One of the features that I love with the Janome Memory Craft 14,000 is the resume mode. And this is my pop-up question on my screen. What resume mode is, and it's come in really handy just a few weeks ago, in fact. If for any reason in the middle of an embroidery design, the power goes out, or you need to stop embroidering and shut down your machine will remember exactly where you left off at that needle penetration point. So it will resume that last embroidery. Now, I don't want to resume my last embroidery. I am going to start something new. And the Memory Craft 14,000 has 350 built-in designs. Let me show you some of those. My icon for the flower will bring me into my embroidery designs. and I'm starting to look at them, and there are 9 pages of embroidery designs. As I said, 350 designs built into the machine. I have the option of viewing them by hoop size or by category. So let me show you what some of those categories are. And as you can see here, these are folders of designs, and I'm on page 1 of 4. So lots of different categories and lots of different types of designs. Here I'm going to choose my cross stitch designs. Now I may want to choose by size of design or hoop size in particular. I'm going to go to the very smallest of the hoops, that 3.9 by 1.6 or the FA10 hoop. When I choose that hoop size, this will only show me designs that will fit that particular area. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that FA hoop, the free arm hoop. I am going to move this onto the machine, and this connects right on that embroidery arm very easily, and it just locks in place. Now, I had mentioned that that was a free arm hoop, and let me tell you what that means. I can remove my storage tray and utilize the free arm portion of that embroidery machine and sewing machine to utilize this hoop. So if I were doing a tote bag, a pant leg, a sleeve, I could hoop that and utilize that open area of the machine and be able to use this hoop and embroider. This is something that is exclusive to Janome, and no other brand machine has this option. And that is because of how the embroidery arm is situated in the back of the machine. And I'm back to my home page of my embroidery screen, and I am going to show you the lettering options. The lettering options are the fonts that are built into the machine. There are 11 different fonts. I find that incredible. So various types of fonts, but one in particular that I wanted to show you is this micro Gothic. This is a 5mm lettering. It is just the perfect size to recreate a logo or do lettering on a left chest pocket. And of course, all of the Janome embroidery machines have 2 and 3 letter monograms. So just a complete lettering option, and you'll be able to do just about anything your mind sets it to. So I love the fact that so much is built into the machine. Between all of the decorative stitches, the built-in embroidery designs, and the built-in fonts. Just a good review, 13.7 inches in that throat space, and even off to the left of the machine, just a nice wide area that you get. I think that you'll absolutely love the Memory Craft 14,000. Don't forget to reach out to your Janome dealer and ask them some questions about the 14,000. Make sure to ask about their phenomenal pricing, as well as any financing options that they may have. But most importantly, don't forget to tell them Alba sent you.